There is a place in Europe with its own borders, its own government, its own laws, and its own thousand-year-old constitution. It issues its own permits. It runs on a different calendar than the rest of the world, and most people have never heard its name. It's not a country. It's a republic of monks. We've spent this series looking at how the monks of Mount Athos eat and fast and live. But none of that survives for 1,000 years by accident. It survives because of what Athos actually is, not just a cluster of monasteries, but a self-governing state that has outlasted empires. It began in the year 963. A monk named Athanasius, backed by the Byzantine Emperor Nikephoros II, founded the first great monastery, the Great Lavra, still standing today as the senior house on the mountain. Before him, scattered hermits in caves. After him, an organized monastic world. Then, in 972, the empire went further. Emperor John I signed Athos's first charter, in effect its founding constitution, granting the community the right to govern itself. More than 1,000 years ago, an empire looked at this peninsula and agreed, "You will make your own rules here." That arrangement has, in one form or another, outlived every empire and nation that has risen and fallen around it since. Today, Mount Athos is still self-governing. 20 monasteries share power. Their capital is a small town called Karyes, the seat of government since the 10th century. Representatives from each monastery meet to make decisions, and a leader is chosen, not for life, but for a single year at a time. It sits inside modern Greece, protected by the Greek constitution, Article 105, but it answers spiritually not to Athens, but to the ecumenical patriarch in Constantinople. It keeps the old Julian calendar, so the mountain runs 13 days behind the world outside. In some monasteries, the day is still counted from sunset, Byzantine style. Step onto Athos and you step back in time. Think about what that means for everything we've talked about. The fasting calendar, the diet, the daily rhythm. These aren't lifestyle choices that could be dropped next year. They're the law of a self-governing state that has protected its own way of life, deliberately for over 1,000 years. That's why the pattern is so undiluted. Nothing outside has been allowed to erode it. Everything around it has been optimized, updated, disrupted. Athos took a different path 1,000 years ago. Choose a way of living, protect it completely and let time prove it out. 1,000 years on, it's still living that choice. Quite possibly the oldest unbroken way of life of its kind on Earth. And that brings us to where this whole series has been heading. Next time we bring it all the way home. The 7 specific foods, grown and gathered on this mountain, that sit at the center of one of the healthiest ways of eating ever studied. The blueprint, on a plate. Subscribe and let's keep going together.